Cognitive dissonance. You've definitely heard the term, right? But what's so cool is that this powerful idea has its own story, a really fascinating evolution over more than 60 years. It started out as a pretty simple concept, but it's grown into this sophisticated framework that honestly explains so much about our modern world. All right, let's get into it.
You know the feeling. We've all been there. You drop a bunch of money on something, and almost immediately, that little voice of doubt starts creeping in. So what do? You instantly start justifying it. Oh, the quality is amazing. It's an investment, really. That feeling, that deep need to make your beliefs line up with your actions, well, that's the heart of cognitive dissonance right there.
So where did this whole idea even come from? Let's wind the clock back to the very beginning, to the moment someone first put a name to this uncomfortable clash happening inside our heads.
Okay, so in 1957, a psychologist named Leon Festinger came up with this groundbreaking theory. He basically said that when our beliefs and our actions don't match up, like believing I'm a super healthy person right after you've demolished an entire pizza, it creates this state of mental discomfort. And here's the key. It's not just a passing thought. It's an active, motivating feeling that literally pushes us to fix the conflict.
And Festinger's original theory made another really important point. This isn't some on or off switch. It's totally a spectrum. A tiny inconsistency, like, say, using a plastic straw when you generally try not to, might give you a little twinge of discomfort. But a major inconsistency, something that really goes against your core values, whoa, that creates a much, much stronger drive to close that mental gap.
But like any great scientific idea, this one didn't just get a free pass. Almost right away, a huge debate kicked off that would totally shape the future of the theory. The big question was this: is dissonance a real physical feeling, or is it something else entirely?
And this slide lays out the two opposing camps perfectly. On one side, you've got Festinger, who's arguing that yes, dissonance is a genuine, in-your-gut kind of discomfort. But on the other side, you had Daryl Bem, who came up with this rival idea called self-perception theory. Bem's take was that there's no discomfort needed at all. We just look at our own actions, kind of like an outside observer, and figure out our attitudes from there. So, who was right? Well, it took decades of research to figure it out, but a really important study in 1994 helped settle the score. Researchers actually measured how people were feeling, and they showed that, yep, inconsistency does produce real psychological discomfort. And the kicker, that uncomfortable feeling went down after people changed their attitude. This was huge support for Festinger's original idea. Dissonance is, for sure, a real, tangible feeling. Now, with that debate pretty much settled, the theory didn't just stop. It got way more interesting. Researchers started to see dissonance not just as a simple clash of ideas, but as a much more complex and sophisticated psychological process. This modern view is laid out perfectly here. Think of it as a three-step process. First, your brain perceives a conflict. Step 2, that conflict triggers this state of, unpleasant arousal. It's that icky, uncomfortable feeling. And then step 3, you are motivated to change something, your attitude, your behavior, specifically to manage and regulate that bad feeling. And from there, two key models have made our understanding even sharper. The action-based model suggests that dissonance is basically a mental alarm bell. It's saying, hey, we've got a problem here. We need to get our thoughts in order so we can actually do something effectively. Then there's the emotion regulation model, which frames dissonance reduction more like a toolkit of mental strategies. We can change our attitude, deny we did anything wrong, or just downplay the whole thing. All just different ways to manage that negative feeling. So, as you can see, this theory has grown up. It's gone from a simple idea in a psychology lab to this incredibly powerful tool for understanding human behavior out in the real world. So, where do we actually see it in action today? Honestly, the applications are just everywhere. In management, it explains how leaders justify really tough decisions. In health psychology, it's a critical tool used to help people quit smoking or stick to a diet. It helps explain how we deal with the crazy amount of conflicting information on social media, often by just digging our heels in even deeper. There's even something called vicarious dissonance, which is that awkward feeling you get when someone in your group does something that goes against the group's values. This table really sums up the entire journey we've just been on. It's so clear. We started with this classic idea of inconsistent thoughts creating a bad feeling. Now, the theory is woven into these complex models of emotion and action. The old debates have been settled with stronger evidence, and the focus has exploded from just lab studies into a huge range of real-world areas. It's just a perfect example of how a great scientific idea can grow, mature, and become even more relevant over time.
So to wrap this all up, a question for you, because this isn't just some abstract theory, right? It's a fundamental part of our human operating system. It's running in the background of our decisions, our justifications, and our conversations all the time. Now that you can spot it, where do you see cognitive dissonance shaping your world?